Hi, we are Jared and Corey, and we have recently grown our family through foster adoption.
We are excited to share a little bit about our story with you. We believe wholeheartedly in the process of foster adoption, and we believe that regardless of what that role might look like, that everyone can make a difference in the life of a foster child.
Our journey kind of began just riding in the car, having a conversation about growing our family and what that might look like. And the idea was foster adoption. It was on both of our hearts.
Yeah, so for us, the next step was to contact our local county and to go through their orientation. So when we showed up to orientation that night, we were able to listen to a county social worker talk about the real situations that these kids are coming out of. We heard story after story after story about some of the abuses and neglect that these kids are recovering from.
And it was at that orientation night that as a man, when I just sat there hearing the need right here in our own backyard of children who are being neglected, abused.
Yeah, I remember that night, at the end of orientation, Jared and I just both looked at each other with just tears filling our eyes. It was that night that we realized how great of a need there really was out there. These kids have suffered through neglect. They have suffered all sorts of physical and mental and sexual abuses, things that we don't even want to think about. And so to know that there was something small that we could do to make a difference was what kept us moving forward in the process. So over the next few months, we walked through the licensing process. And we had our home licensed through our local county. And then we got the call. We got the call that there was a 7-month-old baby boy, and he was very shortly after that placed in our home.
And not too long after that, about 4 months later, we got a phone call saying that birth mom had another, and we brought home his younger brother.
Our boys are literally 1 year and 1 day apart. And let me tell you, it is a whole lot of craziness in our home. For us, the process was a 2-year process. And so when it finally came time for court, we were excited to celebrate.
Yeah, and there's just something about sitting in that courtroom with friends and family and the boys and seeing the judge hit the gavel and using your last name with their first name. It just does something inside of you that you can't really explain, that just the release of all the anxiety is just off, and it's the start of a fresh beginning. So after that court date, my wife had it on her heart for a long time to throw a great celebration party, and we did.
For us, it was just a way of inviting those family and friends who had supported us through this journey. This was something that we could not do alone. We needed our family and friends who had walked this road with us just to come and celebrate just an enjoyable night full of laughter and games and kids and dancing. We just, celebrated our family all together. You might be sitting there thinking foster adoption might not be the right thing for you right now. And we want to challenge you just to think that there are so many ways that you can help meet the needs of a foster child. There's so many tangible things like school supplies and clothing and being a support to another foster family. Goodness gracious, I can't tell you how many cups of coffee kept me encouraged. So we really just want to challenge you to think that just because maybe foster adoption isn't right for you right now, that there's so many different ways that you can get involved. And then there might be those of you right now who are thinking that foster adoption is right for you, that there's just this gentle stir in your heart that you can't shake. And we really want to challenge you to call your local county and find out when their next orientation is and sit and listen to how you can get licensed and become a foster adoptive parent.
We are not superheroes. We are just two people with willing hearts to be used by God in foster adoption. And because of that, we have our 2 sweet boys in their forever home. And God walked with us every step of the way, held us every step of the way, and He will be there for you as well.